Jinwoo didn't just extract normal bosses, humans, and monsters. No, he extracted some of the craziest monsters we see throughout the entire series. The most prominent one was obtained during Jeju Island's raid, where the S ranks from multiple countries came together to fight the army of ants which had taken over the island. While their target was the Ant Queen, there was actually a hidden boss, the Ant King. He was so powerful that he single-handedly massacred 8 of the 16 S ranks who attempted to clear the gate, including Goto Ryuji, the strongest hunter in Japan, and if this raid had succeeded, he was gonna become a national level hunter. So like, this dude was in contention to being like top 5, top 6 hunters in the world, but he got one shot. But Jinwoo enters the scene and literally starts slaughtering hundreds of these little ants, which makes the Ant King realize that he can't win, and he tries to flee. Like, this dude tries everything. He tries to beat him in speed, he tries to beat him in strength, durability, making himself small, everything. He tries everything, but Jinwoo is just better. He's stronger. But after the raid, seeing the potential the Ant King showed, as he literally was destroying S ranks like it was nobody's business, Jinwoo decided to revive the king and name him Beru. Meanwhile, Jinwoo also extracted the shadow of the dead Ant Queen. Beru informed him that she was unfit for battle, so that's why we're not going to talk about the Ant Queen's shadow. Due to having been born to kill, Beru revels in his power and has a sinister bloodlust for battle. So naturally, he's incredibly brutal in combat, rarely holding back unless ordered to, going straight for his enemy's weak spot. He's also pretty condescending towards his fellow shadow soldiers, as displayed when he started screaming furiously at them when they failed to follow his lead and break out of the Frost Monarch's ice prison. But outside of battle, he's basically the funniest character in the series. Like all the other shadow soldiers, Beru is loyal to his master, but on a much greater scale. He's so loyal, he will compliment Jinwoo mid-battle, as well as constantly aim for his approval. But to make this guy even crazier, he's got a hobby of watching K-dramas, but not just any K-dramas, historical K-dramas, which make him sound like he's some Korean general from like the 1700s, bro. And of course, he learned this while guarding Jinwoo's sister. But in terms of power, Beru is a member of the 3 strongest shadows in Jinwoo's army, being on equal footing with Igris and the Grand Marshal. He was originally general grade and became marshal grade after Jinwoo's reawakening, and his power is off the charts. Firstly, he has incredible strength, speed, and durability, being able to effortlessly crush Hae-In's sword in his bare hand. He also one-shot an Arclick, broke out of the Frost Monarch's ice prison, and slashed off the Plague Monarch's fingers. On top of that, he was able to tank Jinwoo's attacks during their training session, as well as being able to fly from Jeju to Busan in a matter of minutes. He can also enhance his power with his ability Size Manipulation, allowing him to increase his strength at the cost of speed by growing his body, and vice versa. But this guy is on another level, and we're not even done covering, because Beru also has this ability called Gluttony, which allows him to absorb the skills and knowledge of those he consumes. This works in tandem with his other powers like Paralysis Potion, where Beru spits a magical poison which is extremely toxic and fatal, killing a target in seconds. On the other hand, he's also a master healer, even being able to bring Jinho back to full health from the brink of death. After Jinwoo reset history, Beru continued to stay loyal and even watched over the new Shadow Monarch's son, Sung Soo-ho, growing a close attachment to him. He was like his nanny, basically. But if you thought an Ant King was badass, then what about
the Blood Red Commander Igris? Now, Igris is a special case, as he originally served under Ashbourne during the original war with the rulers, and so Ashbourne assigned him to test his successor when the time was right. Jinwoo would first encounter Igris as a boss within the Job Change Quest dungeon. During their fight, Igris refused to be extracted by Jinwoo until he saw his worth. But as we know, our boy is him, and was able to defeat Igris, showcasing his worth as Ashbourne's successor. And even after all that, Igris still needed a reason to serve Jinwoo, but eventually he saw our goat's worth and Igris became his subordinate. It's important to note that although shadow soldiers are undead slaves, they do develop their own personalities, and Igris is no exception to this. His biggest fixation is on loyalty, first with Ashbourne and now with Jinwoo. He fights entirely for his master and is fueled by battle. He even has the problem of bringing back the heads of enemies to Jinwoo. Igris is also extremely powerful. Firstly, he's a master swordsman, as he was able to keep up with Jinwoo during their initial fight, as well as being virtually invisible to Jinwoo's attack due to his armor, only being significantly weakened once penetrated in the eye. He was already in power, but when Jinwoo was reborn as the new Shadow Monarch, Igris obtained his true powers and jumped 2 grades from Elite Knight to Martial. He possesses enhanced strength, speed, rejuvenation, and durability, not to mention his OP telekinesis abilities. His power is truly showcased when he had to hold his own against the Frost Monarch without Jinwoo's presence.
Finally, we've reached the strongest shadow in Jinwoo's army, the greatest gift given to our boy from Ashbourne, Grand Marshal Bellion. He's a huge humanoid-like creature with a pair of black wings on his back, black armor, white eyes, and glowing purple skin with a single horned helmet worn on his head. He was born eons ago from the fruit of the world tree, which is said to be so large that it could cover the entire sky with just its branches. He eventually became Ashbourne's lieutenant, which he even maintained after his death, and was also the first shadow soldier to ever be created. Jinwoo would encounter his second in command for the first time after he had killed the 3 monarchs as a giant gate opened in Korea, containing Ashbourne's full original Shadow Army. Here, Bellion would pledge his loyalty to Jinwoo, becoming his greatest asset. Naturally, as the first shadow, he maintained a personality. Bellion isn't very emotional. He just simps for the Shadow Monarch, whether that's Ashbourne or Jinwoo. And like a lot of other shadows, he's a warrior through and through, both in body and soul. But due to his rank being Grand Marshal, he is second in command in the army, just behind Jinwoo. As for his abilities, Bellion's strength and durability are immaculate. To give examples, he was able to easily swat aside Beru's attacks and smash him into the ground. He was also able to completely tank one of Beru's strikes head on, not showing any signs of damage. Remember, Beru is supposed to be just below him in strength, meaning he's stronger than Kamish, who was able to take out hundreds of S ranks, and this guy easily stops him. Also, if you were thinking, wow, is that all we have on the strongest shadow? Then honestly, yeah. Basically, this guy was so hyped. I was left a bit disappointed when we didn't get to like see more of him, you know. But actually, wait. We do actually see him in the side story where Jinwoo's son Sung Soo-ho has to defeat Bellion as the final boss before fighting Jinwoo. So there's that, I guess. But if you want to learn more about why Jinwoo is a freaking god and he isn't actually a human, then click on the video on screen right now.